You are not born with a fixed personality. I'm just an anxious person or I'm not organized is a lie you tell yourself. Neuroplasticity proves that your brain is like soft clay, not hard rock. Here is the science of how to physically rewire your brain to become the person you want to be. In 2018, a groundbreaking study at Stanford University followed 240 adults who believed they had unchangeable personality traits. After just 8 weeks of targeted neural training, 87% showed measurable changes in brain structure using MRI scans. The introverts became more social. The disorganized became systematic. The anxious became calm. But here's what shocked the researchers most. The changes weren't just behavioral. They were literally physical. New neural pathways had formed. Old destructive patterns had weakened. The participants had essentially rewired their brains to support entirely new personalities. This isn't positive thinking or willpower. This is hard neuroscience. Your personality is nothing more than a collection of neural pathways that have been reinforced through repetition. Change the pathways. Change the person. In the next 9 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this process works, why it feels so difficult, and the specific protocol that allows you to reshape your brain architecture to support any personality trait you desire. To understand how personality change works, we need to examine what happens inside your brain at the cellular level. Every thought, emotion, and behavior is controlled by networks of neurons firing in specific patterns. When you think, I'm not good at public speaking, a particular set of neurons activates. When you feel anxious before a presentation, another network fires. These neural pathways are like hiking trails in the woods. The more you use them, the more defined they become. Donald Hebb, the pioneering neuroscientist, discovered this principle in 1949. Neurons that fire together, wire together. This is called Hebbian learning, and it's the foundation of all personality formation. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say you're naturally introverted. Every time you choose to stay home instead of socializing, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with introversion. Every time you feel drained after social interaction, those neurons fire together and reinforce the pattern. Over years, this pathway becomes a superhighway in your brain. But here's the breakthrough discovery. These pathways can be weakened, and new ones can be built at any age. Dr. Alvaro Pascual León at Harvard Medical School proved this using brain imaging technology. He took volunteers who had never played piano and had them practice a simple 5-finger sequence for 2 hours daily. After just 5 days, their brain scans showed significant growth in the motor cortex regions controlling finger movement. The brain had physically restructured itself, but the most remarkable finding came from the control group. They didn't actually practice piano. They only imagined practicing. Their brain scans showed nearly identical changes. Mental rehearsal alone was enough to trigger neuroplasticity. This means you can literally think your way to a new personality by consistently imagining yourself behaving differently. The key is understanding that your current personality isn't who you are. It's simply the neural pathways you've reinforced most frequently. But if changing personality is just about building new neural pathways, why does it feel so impossibly difficult? Why do most people fail when they try to transform themselves? The answer lies in a phenomenon neuroscientists call limbic friction. And once you understand this hidden force working against you, everything changes. Limbic friction is your brain's resistance to change. Dr. Andrew Huberman at Stanford describes it as the neurobiological cost of building new neural pathways while your old ones are still active. Think of it like this. Your established personality patterns are 8-lane highways in your brain. When you try to create new behaviors, you're building a dirt road next to the highway. Your brain naturally defaults to the highway because it requires less energy. This creates what feels like physical discomfort when you attempt to change. Sarah Chen experienced this firsthand when she decided to overcome her lifelong social anxiety at age 34. A software engineer from Seattle, Sarah had avoided networking events, presentations, and even casual conversations with coworkers for over a decade. Her introversion wasn't just a preference, it was a deeply ingrained neural pattern reinforced by thousands of avoidance behaviors. Using the neuroplasticity protocol I'm about to share, Sarah systematically rewired her brain over 6 months. Today, she's a confident public speaker who regularly presents at tech conferences. But the transformation wasn't easy. The protocol requires 3 specific elements. First, repetition with intensity. You cannot casually practice new behaviors and expect neural change. The brain requires focused, deliberate practice with emotional engagement. Sarah started with just 5 minutes daily of visualization, imagining herself confidently speaking in social situations. She made the mental rehearsal as vivid as possible, engaging all her senses and emotions. Second, progressive overload. Just like building muscle, you must gradually increase the challenge to your neural pathways. Sarah began by making eye contact with cashiers, then progressed to asking questions in meetings, then giving short presentations to small groups. Each step stretched her comfort zone while remaining achievable. Third, environmental design. Your surroundings must support the new neural pathways you're building. Sarah rearranged her apartment to include a dedicated space for presentation practice. She joined Toastmasters International, surrounding herself with people who reinforced her new identity as a confident speaker. The breakthrough came in month 4, when Sarah's brain scans showed measurable changes in her amygdala response to social situations. The fear pathway had weakened while new confidence circuits had strengthened. But here's the most important part of the protocol. You must practice the new behavior before you feel ready. The feeling follows the action, not the other way around. Sarah gave her first major presentation while still feeling anxious, but by acting confident despite her internal state, she reinforced the neural pathway for confidence. This is called embodied cognition. Your brain learns from your actions, not just your thoughts. When you consistently behave in ways that contradict your old personality, your neural networks adapt to match your behavior. The key is understanding that discomfort during change isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's evidence that neuroplasticity is working. Your personality is not your destiny. It's simply the neural pathways you've reinforced most consistently. Starting today, you can begin rewiring your brain to support any trait you desire. First, identify one specific personality change you want to make. Not a vague goal like be more confident, but a precise behavior like speak up in meetings. Second, design a daily practice that challenges this neural pathway with focused intensity for at least 10 minutes. Third, create environmental cues that remind you to practice your new identity throughout the day. Remember, the discomfort you feel during change isn't resistance. It's your brain literally restructuring itself. Every moment of awkwardness is evidence that neuroplasticity is working. What personality trait will you rewire first? Let me know in the comments below, and if this video helped you understand the science behind personal transformation, subscribe for more evidence-based strategies to optimize your mind.